I'm 78 years old, and yesterday, something happened that I never imagined in my worst nightmares. My son, my own flesh and blood, looked me directly in the eyes and said, "Mom, don't expect anything from Dad's will. You're getting nothing." My daughter-in-law stood beside him with that cold little smile she always hides behind politeness. But the very next morning, when I sat inside the lawyer's office, he opened a sealed envelope from my late husband, and his hands started shaking. He looked at me, then back at the envelope, and whispered, "Ma'am, your husband left instructions that your son must never know what's inside this." And that's when I realized my husband had predicted everything. I was married to Henry for 52 years. He was the love of my life, calm, gentle, a man who believed in kindness more than wealth. But after he passed, everything changed. My son, Daniel, he used to be a sweet boy. But ever since he married Emily, everything turned cold. Suddenly he cared only about money, inheritance, assets, and worse. He stopped visiting me, unless he needed something. But here's the part that still haunts me. 2 nights before Henry died, he held my hand tightly and whispered, "Evelyn, when I'm gone, trust no one." I thought he was just scared, but now I know he was warning me. The day before the will reading, I overheard my son arguing on the phone. He didn't know I was standing in the hallway. Daniel said, "She's old, Emily. She can't live alone much longer. Once her part of the inheritance is in our name, we're selling the house." He meant my house, the home Henry and I built brick by brick. My hands trembled. Not because of the money, but because my own son was planning my life like I was some burden. Then I heard something far more shocking. Emily whispered, "Your mom won't be a problem for long. She's already weak." I stepped back. My heart sank. They weren't just greedy, they were waiting for me to fade away. And that's when I knew Henry must have known something too. When I entered the lawyer's office, everything felt heavy. The curtains were half open, sunlight falling across his desk in narrow lines. My son and his wife arrived late, Emily chewing gum, Daniel pretending to comfort me like a good son. The lawyer, Mr. Holstrom, cleared his throat. "This will is unusual," he said. Emily leaned forward aggressively. "Let's just skip to the part where everything goes to Daniel." I felt her words like knives, but the lawyer didn't even look at her. He opened a second envelope, one sealed differently. His eyes widened. "Oh my God!" His voice broke slightly. Daniel rolled his eyes. "What? What is it?" "Just read it." But the lawyer shook his head slowly. "Senor and Thompson, your husband left special instructions that only you may hear this part. Not your son." Daniel's face twisted into disbelief. "What do you mean I can't hear it?" "I'm his son." The lawyer stayed calm. "Your father anticipated a conflict of interest," Emily scoffed. "This is ridiculous." But deep down, I felt it. Henry had planned something big. The lawyer handed me a small envelope with my name on it, written in Henry's shaky handwriting. "For Evelyn's eyes only." My heart nearly stopped. I opened it gently. Inside was a letter, 1 page long. Henry wrote, "Evelyn, I know our son no longer sees you the way he once did. I know his wife's influence. I know their plans." My hands trembled reading it. "If you're reading this, I'm gone. But I've protected you. Everything I own, every dollar, every property, every account is under a trust." A trust? I didn't understand. The letter continued, "You are the sole beneficiary of it. But Daniel and Emily must never know the amount. Not until you choose. Primera ga esped." Henry continued. "If they try to manipulate you, if they try to take advantage of you, show the lawyer the second document. It will tell you what to do." My chest tightened. Henry had known everything. I looked at the lawyer. His voice was soft. "Ma'am, Your husband left you the entire $12.6 million. My breath caught Daniel's face. Confusion turned into rage. Emily, her jaw dropped to the floor. But the lawyer raised his hand. And that's not all. Mr. Hallstrom opened another folder. Your husband placed strict legal conditions. Daniel barked WHAT conditions. The lawyer ignored him. Mrs. Thompson, your husband transferred every asset to your name before he died. Your son has no legal claim. Daniel stood up. This is insane. I'm his son. I deserve something. Emily grabbed his arm, but the lawyer wasn't finished. He pulled out a thick stack of printed screenshots, messages, dozens of them. Daniel's messages to Emily, Emily's replies, conversations about selling my house, putting me in assisted living, getting my husband's money, waiting for the old lady to be gone. Henry had screenshots of everything. He'd hired a private investigator. My lips quivered. Daniel sat down slowly, his face pale as a ghost. Emily whispered, "This is fake." But the lawyer shook his head. All verified, all dated, all legal. Henry had known. Henry had seen the greed, and he had protected me until his very last breath. Daniel looked at me, not with love, but with desperation. Mom, we didn't mean it like that. It was just venting. I stared at him. This was the boy I raised, the boy I fed, held, comforted. The boy I loved with everything I had. And now he was begging only because he lost money. My voice cracked. You wanted me gone? Emily stepped in. No, that's not true. We hoosed me aunt, the lawyer cut her off. Mrs. Thompson, your husband also left video evidence. E played Italiano. My husband, lying in his hospital bed, weak but alert, he said. Daniel, if you are seeing this, then I know your intentions. You broke your mother's heart long before I died. You abandoned her. You insulted her. And now you want what you did not earn. Daniel lowered his head. Henry continued, this money belongs to the only person who stayed by my side. Your mother. My soul shattered hearing his voice again. When the video ended, the room was silent. For the first time in my life, I spoke firmly. Daniel, you and your wife will never touch a dime of Henry's money. He raised his head. Mom, please. I cut him off. You planned to sell my home. You planned my life without me. You tried to replace me before I even died. He swallowed hard. Emily stepped forward. You're being emotional. You're old. You need us. I looked directly at her. No, I don't. And the only reason you came today was because you thought you'd walk out a millionaire. She stiffened. Daniel looked defeated. At least give us something. The lawyer answered for me. The trust has strict terms. If you pressure your mother, harass her, or ask for money, you are legally barred from receiving anything in the future. Emily's face collapsed. Henry had closed every door. Just when they thought it was over, the lawyer pulled out a final envelope. Black, unsealed, labeled, reveal only if necessary. He opened it. Inside was a short note from Henry. It read, if Daniel tries to fight the will, remind him about the $47,000 I transferred to him secretly last year, which he pretended he never received. I have bank proofs. I know what he used it for. Tell him I forgave him. But the law won't. Daniel froze. His eyes widened. Emily whispered, What is he talking about? Daniel didn't answer. But I knew he had stolen from his father long before all of this. Henry kept it secret. To protect him, Daniel covered his face. He knew it was over. I took a deep breath. Daniel, I don't want revenge. I never did. I wanted a son. Not a thief. He cried silently. Emily took her purse and walked out. She didn't love him anymore now that he was broke. The door shut behind her. My son was left alone. He whispered, "Mom, I'm sorry." I held his hand. "I forgive you. But forgiveness doesn't mean trust." He nodded slowly. "I'll earn it back. Someday." I didn't know if he would. But for the first time in years, I saw my little boy inside him again. Not a greedy man, just a broken one. The lawyer helped me gather the documents. He smiled gently. "Your husband loved you more than anything in this world." I wiped my tears. "I know," he continued. "He planned all of this because he wanted you safe." On the way home, I sat in the back seat of the cab, holding Henry's letter tightly. I whispered, "Thank you for protecting me." Even after death, when I reached home, I walked into the living room and saw a framed photos of Henry on the table. I touched the glass. "You always kept your promises." A soft breeze brushed my cheek, ... Maybe it was the open window. Maybe it was him. But I felt safe. For the first time since he died, he felt safe. Safe. That night, Daniel came to my door again. But this time, he didn't ask for money. He hugged me. A long, silent embrace. "Mom, I'm going to be better." I nodded. "I hope so, Daniel. Your father believed people can change." Maybe he was right. As he walked away, I looked up at the sky. Henry used to say, "Money reveals a person's heart, and truth always wins." He was right. Because in the end, it wasn't about the $12.6 million. It was about loyalty, love, and the price people pay when they forget the value of family.